Radhe Radhe. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jnana Vairagya Sampurnan, Hari Bhakti Parayanan, Purva Acharyan Aham Vande Sampradaya Pravartakane. Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Pashantaye. Hare Rameti Krishneti Nama Sankirtanam Sada Lokakshemaya Kurvantam Premikam Sadgurum Bhaje. Kalage Sundarakaram Sadaika Priyadarshanam Ajnana Nashakam Devam Sadgurum Muralidharam Murali Mandita Karakamalam Munijana Mohanam Vyatyastapadam Vanamala Dharinam Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam Premika Varadam Ashrayekam Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Vaibhavam Divyadeshanam Puraneshu Prakirtitam Katitam Kavyarupena Krishnapremi Surina Tirtasnana Phalam Sarvam Kshetrayatra Phalam Tatha Pathatam Srunvatam Chapi Sulabham Nahi Samshrayah Namah Shri Ranganataya Kaveri Madhyashayine Archavatara Sreshtaya Sarvamangaladhayine Samasta Kalyana Gunabhiramam Ramanivasam Ramaniyagatram Sashankachakram Jagatam Sharanyam Shri Venkatesham Sharanam Prapadye. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tannamami Harim Param. Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha. Sadguru Maharaj Ki Jai. With the immense blessings of our beloved Guru Maharaj, we are relishing the divine nectar of Tirumala Vaibhavam. I can dare say, and I am sure you all will agree, that we can rarely find a Hindu family who has not had the darshan of our Venkateshwara Perumal, or who does not have any link with Tirumala, or who has not kept the lovely picture of our Venkateshwara Perumal in their puja room. Whatever sampradaya they are from, whether it is sampradayas which originated in Brindavanam or Ayodhya or Kanchipuram or Srirangam or Udupi or Pandarapuram, everybody loves our Venkatesha Perumal. Everybody connects with our Venkatesha Perumal. That's why our Swamiji sings, Kali Yuga Pratyaksha Deva. In Kali Yuga, the one who gives refuge to one and all, irrespective of their history, Papi or Punyavan, Dhanavan, if somebody is rich or in abject penury, doesn't matter. That one Lord who is common, who gives refuge to everybody, Sarvaloka Sharanyaya. Sarvaloka Sharanya Shri Seshadri Shikara Prabhu. That is our Venkateshwara Perumal. And we saw that our Perumal descended by first sending Adisesha as 7 hills. The 7 hills are Narayanadri, Gaduradri, Simhadri, Venkatadri, Seshadri, Vrishabhadri, Anjanadri. 7 hills, na? And this week we are going to see the greatness of one such hill. The first hill is called Vrishabhadri. Vrishabhadri. And this is a great grantha graced by our beloved Sri Sri Anna called Divyadesa Vaibhavam. In that there is a Tirumala Vaibhavam, and we are going to see the chapter number 36, Ata Shatrimshodhyaya. You can follow the parayanam. Sri Sadguru Vacha Vijnaya sAnidhyam ato murarehe Tatraya yurgyogi varamunindraha Tapodhanastatra tapascha shaktruhu Dridrikshaya Venkatanayakasya. In our Sanatana Dharma, nothing happens as an accident. Especially events which are associated with divinity and religion is always by divine plan and divine grace. I'll tell you an example. Just see the history of any Hanumanji temple, for example. Somebody must have done lot of Ramanama japa in that place. And for Mahatmas, when they sit down and say Rama, in their divine eye, which is in the state of Samadhi, not in the physical eyes, in their divine eye, they can see the presence of Hanumanji the moment they say Rama, or the moment they utter a few words which are related to Ramachandra Swami's story. Or when they are reading Ramayana, Anjaneya Swami's presence can be felt. That's for Mahatmas who have controlled their mind and they can see through the eyes of what is called as intuition or jnanam. For normal people like you and me, how we can see the presence of Hanumanji where there is a lot of Ramanama being japa is, as you keep chanting Ramanama in a place, the presence of Ramachandra Prabhu starts filling that place. It's called sAnidhyam. And the moment the sAnidhyam reaches a level, either a picture of Anjaneya Swami will come, okay, or a lovely deity of Anjaneya Swami will be installed there. At least, even before all this happens, a Mahatma will visit that place because they can feel the divine presence of the divine name and the divine form there. Likewise, even before the lovely Archavatara, even before the divine Swayamvyakta Tirumeni, the self-appeared form of our Srinivasa Perumal, which we see now in Tirumala, appeared, Mahatmas could sense, could see intuitively with their eyes of jnana and prema the presence of our Perumal in that hill, in the 7 hills. Vijnaya sAnidhyam ato murarehe. That's what it means in the first sloka. The moment they realized, Vijnaya, Nyaya means knowing theoretically. Vijnaya means by anubhava, experientially and seeing the sAnidhyam. I will tell you a small anecdote. A Mahatma who was passing by another hill, another divine hill, which is our Vishnu's Mitra, who is Loka Guru, Jagat Guru, Dakshinamurti, which is Tiruvannamalai. Let me give you an example from another hill. In our Bhagavata Dharma, Bhagavan Sri Vishnu, our Srinivasa Perumal, is Yogeshwaran. And our Kailashapati, our Shivji, is Yogishwara. He is Jagat Guru. So, we love people who are Krishna Bhaktas, love Perumal with all their heart and respect Yogeshwara, Parvatipati, Kailashapati with all their heart. They worship Perumal and they respect Yogeshwara. So here in Tiruvannamalai, there is a very famous ashram, Ramanashrama. Once a contemporary Mahatma was walking along the road which leads to Bangalore if you go straight, which passes by Ramanashrama. That Mahan did not know anything about that ashram was situated there, etc. He was just doing Giri Pradakshina, which is circumambulating the hill. That Mahatma said, while he was passing by the gates of Ramanashrama, this was heard by the speaker himself, first hand. And you all must have known by now who that Mahatma is. The moment the Mahatma crossed the gates of Ramanashrama, he said, there was as if a giant pull, like a magnet will just pull particles of iron towards itself. There was a pull which pushed the actual Mahatma right into Ramanashramam to the sanctum. sAnidhyam, presence. And many sadhus, Mahatmas are pulled to our Madhurapuri ashrama. Why? The same sAnidhya is there. As Tirumala, our Perumal is there. So many come. There is not a Mahatma in our times who has not had the darshan of our Thakurji. Thakurji pulls everybody. That sAnidhyam in Madhurapuri. Likewise, when our Perumal first did the subtle presence of his subtle presence in the seven hills, that itself was actually, factually, experientially realized by many yogis, Mahatmas, sadhus and Bhagavatas. That's the speciality of the term Vijñāya sAnidhyam atho murare. In our Bhagavatam, our Bhagavan tells Brahmaji, Jnanam paramaguhyam yad vijnana samanvitam. Chatushloki Bhagavatam's first sloka. Chatushloki is the four important shlokas. Actually, Bhagavan uttered 7 slokas, which became a Saptaha Paddhati for Bhagavatam. So here, Vijñāya means they could actually feel the pull of Perumal in those 7 hills. Vijñāya sAnidhyam. This is exactly what happened in Madhurapuri ashram also. We should know, na? This is not Purana. It is happening to this day in lives of Mahatmas, our own Guru Maharaj. When our Guru Maharaj came to Madhurapuri, for some other reason, this was about 30 years back, more than 30 years back, okay? Actually 32 years back or so. Somebody called for some bhajan from some Kartikeya bhajan, Muruga bhajan. And that person was very insistent that Swamiji should come. So he brought our Swamiji to a place which is now our heart, Madhurapuri. And the bhajan happened. Swamiji suddenly saw the loveliness, serenity, not just physical serenity, which is Gunamaya serenity. This is Nirguna serenity, which is divine serenity of this place. It was evening. There were koyals chirping, parrots, parakeets and parrots talking to each other in sweet tones. Sun was slowly dipping down, spreading its cool evening rays. There were a few clouds here and there. There was a lovely little mountain, our Madhurachalam, and lush trees everywhere. Some were fruit-bearing mango trees. And Swamiji wanted to come back. And he sat there to do a little bit of a dhyanam. Dhyanam means meditation. And in the dhyana, he could see our Srinivasa Perumal, this Srinivasa Perumal there. Vijñāya sAnidhyam atho murare. I just want to tell you that unless we have such a great Mahatma who could breathe, talk, live, be with divinity, Puranas would be something which is very far-fetched to our limited, corrupted intellect. Na? Thankfully, we have a Mahatma and Puranas come to life by the blessings of our Guru. So Swamiji saw our Perumal there, realized Vijñāya sAnidhyam Vijñāya sAnidhyam atho murare. And the result was, he saw Perumal 30 years back, and he blessed us also to see the self-same Perumal which our Swamiji saw 30, 35 years back. about 20 years back by installing a temple and the deity of our Kalyana Srinivasa Perumal there. And let me extend this story. So, Vijnaya Sanidhyam in an intuitive, Jnanamayam, divine eye is done by Mahatmas, we can't do it. And the same Sanidhya for us also to feel and get benefited, because we need faith now. And for faith we need a form, we need a physical form and a physical name. So Swamiji gave us the physical name Mahamantra, and he gave a physical form in form of deity installed in the sanctum. And that's how temples like Swayamvyakta Tirumeni temples come. Even before Perumal descends in form of Archavatara, his presence fills that place first. Then he comes in form of Archavatara. So here we have the Kalyana Srinivasa Perumal in our Maharanyam village, near our Madhurapuri ashram. How? First our Swamiji, Vijnaya sAnidhyamato murarehe. Tatraya yor yogi vara munindra. So when a Mahatma builds a temple, generally Mahatmas won't build temples. Why? Because they are more interested to be behind the scenes and to reinstate the glory of ancient temples which have been sung by the Mahatmas of the yore, the earlier Mahatmas, you see. So our Swamiji's focus was to go to all the Divyadesams and guide the renovation of those Divyadesams as per the proper legal framework. But then, when a Mahatma builds a temple, it is different from a group of people out of their love they have. People have love for Swami. So when they come as a settlement, they build a temple. And they put a deity which they want. Typically it is our, Vinayakji, or it can be Devi, or it can be Bhagavan Vishnu, or Krishna, or Rama, or whatever. That type of temples are also divine, of course. Wherever there is form of Bhagavan, it is divine. But when a Mahatma installs, or when a Mahatma ordains a temple, it is typically a divine command from within, and it is also typically there is already the presence of Perumal in that place, and a deity comes and fulfills it. You see, it's willed by Perumal. And that Mahatma who installed the deity won't tell the entire secrets. Other Mahatmas would come and say that this place is very divine. There are a lot of rishis presence under this place. They are still doing penance here. To that ashram, Mahatma said that to this day this Madhurapuri ashram is very divine, because there are a lot of rishis who are doing penance right now under this place. These are words which we have to just take, because otherwise very difficult to understand. But one thing we can take, it is that this is a tapo bhumi, which means lot of rishis, yogis, munis, they are all here doing penance. And our ashram, our Thakurji may be the result of that penance. Maybe it is. Our Kalyana Srinivasa is the result of that penance. Likewise in Tirumala also, Vijnana sAnidhyam atho murarehe tatrayayur yogi vara munindraha tapodanaha tatra tapascha chakruhu dridrikshaya venkatanayakasya. They could feel that Venkatanayaka is going to come here, that it is Bhagavan who chose this place. So they rushed to that place and they started doing tremendous penance. Now, they have come to a place which is not their home, obviously, which may not have all the facilities or comforts, obviously, because they are tapasvis, and also they don't know when they can have the darshan of Perumal. And they are sitting down and doing penance, their yoga, their, vratam, etc. for only one reason. Tapodanas tatra tapascha chakruhu dridrikshaya venkatanayakasya. To see the Lord of the seven hills, they started doing penance. Now, please understand the fortune we have in having the darshana of Venkatanayaka, darshan of Tirupati Balaji or Srinivasa Perumal. So what if there is crowd? So what if they push us and say Jarugandi? And so what if we see him only for 3 seconds? Even in tapas, Sakshatkara is like a lightning only. You see, it just comes for a few seconds and it stays till eternity in the soul of the jiva. Our Tirumala, Srinivasa Perumal's darshan is also like that. You see for a few seconds, he fills our heart. I am yet to hear from somebody who said, I went to Tirupati, we asked, darshan hua kya? Darshan acha? And I met to hear, I had darshan, but it's not fulfilling. No. Of course, there is longing for another darshan, but that few seconds of catching the glimpse, the divine glimpse, and of course the divine grace of our Venkatanayaka fills the heart for a year. That's how we used to. I know your family also, I bet. Go and ask your grandfather or your mother or father. They used to do annual yatra to Tirupati. The year won't pass by without our family members going to Tirupati, Tirumala. Why? 1 second stays for 1 year. Tapodana astatra tapascha chakruhu dridrikshaya venkatanayakasya. I told you about our Tirumala, Srinivasa Perumal. You know what this sloka denotes. It's the same for our Kalyana Srinivasa Perumal. It is the same for our Premika Srinivasa Perumal. And those divine secrets may be revealed in decades to come. It is true for our Aishwarya Srinivasa Perumal. I am not trying to exemplify or embellish it. I am just telling you as it is. That land, which was already decided by our Swamiji without coming there, he declared that this land, we are going to have a Namadwaar. And we were about to buy it, the land was sold out. But our Swamiji had it in his heart that that is the place where our Perumal, which we understood now, had to come. And then the land came and fell on our lap. People who bought the land could not stay there. They had to dispose of the land. Why? Because it was earmarked for our Perumal. I don't know if some great yogi or some, a great Mahatma was there or somebody did penance. We don't know. But I'm sure something would have happened. And how many utsavams must have happened in that Namadwaar, like in other places. How many bhajans, how many akhanda namas. Our Thakurji came first. Our Thakurji came first and we celebrated him. We took care of him. He took care of us rather. And we chanted, we sang. There were so many prayers answered. All that happened. Just like how in our Madhurapuri ashram, our Thakurji came and then our Kalyana Srinivasa Perumal came. Likewise, in our North American Aishwarya Srinivasa Perumal's temple also, first Thakurji came and then Perumal came. First Vibhava Avatara, then Archavatara. For us, Thakurji is Vibhava. He is living with us. And our Archavatara Sreshtaya, he is our Srinivasa Perumal. The deity in a sanctum. That's how sAnidhyam. You all came, na? Many of you came. Thousands of you came when our Swamiji ordained one Sunday last month. And all of you have written to us saying we could not take our eyes off our Perumal. We could feel him smiling at us. Ennathan siripoyidu Srinivasa ennathan siripoyidu. Smile of our Srinivasa. That song is fully applicable to our Aishwarya Srinivasa Perumal. That smile, the joy of seeing his devotees. And there is somebody whom I can completely shed all my burden, lead my life with joy, with the name in the lips, gratitude in my heart, and Bhagavatam in my eyes and ears. sAnidhyam. Vijnaya sAnidhyam atho murarekhem tatraya yogi vara munindraha Tapodhanastatra tapascha chakruhu dridrikshaya Venkatanayakasya. Our Sri Anna's Sanskritam is so simple. If you know Indian language, our Sri Anna has written it in such a way that we can relish the meaning by even parayanam, phalan. And these people were all there. The yogis were waiting for Perumal. The tapo, people who did penance, ascesis, those great mahatmas were waiting for Perumal. Munis were waiting for Perumal. When such thing happened, obviously there will be a little bit of a challenge also. No, there was a challenge. What was the challenge? Chakara himsam Vrishabhasurastu tesham muninam bhagavat paranam Vishnum Sharanyam Sharanam Yayuste Virodanashaya Vrishasurasya. He says, Chakara himsam Vrishabhasurastu. There was an asura who had a face of a bull, a raging bull, and with his sharp hands and fiery breath, he disturbed the peace of that hill. That hill where one of the 7 hills, he disturbed the peace of the 7 hills. Chakara himsam. People could not meditate on the lovely form of Vasudeva, our Srinivasa Perumal, in peace. They could not do kirtan in peace. They could not stay in peace. In fact, he started even cannibalizing those great tapodhanas. Remains us of Janasthanana, another forest in Ramayana. Our Ramachandra Prabhu entered that forest. There were Khara and Dushana, lot of Rakshasas there. And they used to feed on these great munis, rishis. And there was a mountain of bones, our Valmiki Swami says. And our Ramachandra Prabhu came single-handedly, Khara Dushana Vadam, with thousands of Rakshasas, Khara Dushana, all annihilated. Why? Because when somebody comes and surrenders, saying that Garbha Bhuta Tapodanaha, we are like our child in the womb of the mother. We don't even know how to cry for help properly. Like a mother does not expect any prayer from her child in the womb to take care of the child. You please take care of us. And Ramachandra Prabhu, out of his valor, vanquished Karadoshana. Likewise, Bhagavan had taken a vow, paritranaya sadhuna minashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya. If the sadhus have to be protected, people who are disturbing the sadhus need to be vanquished. So here very beautifully, our Sri Anna says, Chakara himsam Vrishabhasurastu, that asura in form of a bull, face of a bull with sharp horns, he started terrorizing and he started cannibalizing, all these tapodhanas. Who are these people? They are not normal munis, Bhagavat paranam. If they have the penance, they can possibly even finish off this asura, but they won't. Bhagavat paranam, they will do prayers. So what they did? All these munis went and started surrendering to our Srinivasa Perumal, who is yet to come, to protect them from this asura. Vishnum Sharanyam Sharanam Yayuste Virodhanashaya Vrishasurasya. This is the sign of a sadhu. Nirvairaya Prashantaya Swasutaya Mahatmane. Bhagavan celebrates Prahalada Swami, saying that he does not have even a tinge and a trace of enmity in his heart. To an extent that his own father, who is supposed to protect him from troubles, troubled him ceaselessly, endlessly, incessantly, in ways we can't even imagine, trying to burn him alive, drown him, poison him, throw him from hills, etc. He did all that. Yet, of course, Narayana Nama saved him. But our Prahalada Swami prayed only for the well-being of the father. You see. What will Bhagavan not do for such a Bhagavata? because they don't have a trace of even enmity. A person who prays for the downfall or ill, who prays ill of his enemies or her enemies, is not a devotee at all. You see? Person who says, look here, this person is troubling me a lot. Take care of him. Or kai parunga. What devotion is that? You know what true devotion is? Our Swamiji says that he was instructed that from a great Mahatma, that always shower love even to those who are perceived as enemies to you. Of course, you have to protect oneself. Apart from that, in the heart, don't nurse even the slightest ill will towards anybody, including those who may insult or who may abuse you. When a person is like that, what will Bhagavan or Guru not do for that person, you tell me? So here very beautifully, this is why we should read the works of Mahatmas to understand the real flavor of devotion. Otherwise, it will be Rajasic and Tamasic. If a normal writer writes this story, what will he write? All the rishis went and prayed for the complete vanquishing or complete death of this Vrishabhasura is what they will generally pray, na? But here the rishis prayed something else. Sign of a sadhu. He says, Vishnum Sharanyam Sharanam Yayuste Virodanashaya Vrishasurasya. They prayed, let this Vrishabhasura's enmity towards us be destroyed. This is what is a sign of a Bhagavata. Bhagavan was so happy. They didn't say kill Vrishabhasura for us. They said kill the enmity in Vrishabhasura for us. And that's what Bhagavan did, na, finally. Of course, he vanquished Vrishabhasura. He also ensured the enmity Vrishabhasura had for Bhagavatas and Bhagavan was also killed before he gave up his body. Because of the prayers of Mahatmas. Chakara himsan Vrishabhasurastu Tesha muninam Bhagavat paranam Vishnum Sharanyam, the one who is the refuge for everybody, anywhere, anytime, for everybody. Vishnu, Sharanyam, the refuge, Nivasa Vriksha Sadhunam, that Perumal, Sharanam Yayuhu, they went and surrendered. Protect us, protect us. They did not want to protect themselves by the power of their penance. That penance was reserved only for Bhagavad Darshana. I won't do anything else with that. When we are chanting for the divine love in our heart, that Nama is separate, a fixed deposit, only for my prema. Other things I will cry, I will pray, maybe I will chant. I will chant a little extra for all the small day-to-day issues for me. My chanting is for prema, my chanting is for Hari Sakshat. That's how sadhu should be. So here he is saying, Virodanashaya Vrishasurasya, Virodanashaya. For Bhagavan to vanquish the enmity in the heart of Vrishabhasura. And in the Todayamangala song, we say, Sharanu Sharanu Surendra Sannuta Saranu Sri Sati Vallabha Sharanu Rakshasa Garva Samhara Sharanu Venkatanayaka Rakshasa Garva Samhara. Bhagavan Kripalu. So here they wanted the Virodham, the enmity of this Asura to be completely vanquished. This Vrishabhasura was roaming around, tormenting all the rishis. All the rishis surrendered to Perumal. And Perumal came in the suitable form. If it was a Dharmatma, a one who always speaks the truth, yet he had this little problem with Indra like Bali Chakravarti, and he took hold of Indra's possession, including the capital city, Bhogavati, everything. Then Perumal has to come in form of a little Vedic Pandit and seek alms from the Asura because he is a Dharmatma and Satyasandha, so that he protects both Dharma, Satyam, and also the person who surrendered to him, who is Indra. You see. So he went and begged, got everything, and then gave everything to Indra. And he gave himself to Bali Chakravarti. But here it's a proper Asura who tormented sadhus. He was not a sadhu priya. So Bhagavan took a form which is apt to completely obliterate this Asura. What form is it? Since the Asura took the form of a wild buffalo, Vrishabhasuran, wild, bison, etc., Bhagavan took the form of an hunter. Tata Mukundaha, who came there? The one who came there was not Murari Kamsari, Mukundaha, which means he has come with the sankalpa of giving moksha to even this Asura. Why? Kshetram. In Tirumala, he is an Asura who roamed about Tirumala. Of course, he did horrible acts of tormenting sadhus, but he was in Tirumala, that Kshetra, sAnidhyam. Tadha Mukundaha Shabarendra Rupam. He took the form of the king of hunters. Whichever form he takes, he is always the king. Divyam Grihitva Turagadi Rudaha. He sat on a lovely horse. Garuda Bhagavan himself must have taken the form of a horse. So he took a divine form of a hunter, king, chieftain there. Chacharadanvi varakadghadrikcha kurvan mahadrau mragaya viharam. Then he took a bow and arrow in his hand. Danvi khadgham. He took a big sword also in his hand. And he took a proper form of a warrior, a hunter king. And then he went around searching for this Vrishabhasuran. Leela. Tayayayo madhavam ikshadaityaha krandan sakopam pati tikshna shrungaha vivyadatam bhana varena vishnuhu mamara daityaha sagasa nipatya. Tatrayayo, when our Madhava, when our lovely Srinivasa Perumal, always Srinivasa Perumal, Madhavaha. So that Mukundan, Madhavan, when he came on mounting a horse, searching to hunt this Vrishabhasuran, the moment Vrishabhasuran looked at our Madhava, he came in a lovely form, tall, beautiful, sturdy shoulders, wearing a crown of a hunter chieftain with a small feather also there, wide eyes, little red on the corners out of the anger which he has taken to do the samhara, sharp nose, red lips, and then wearing all the general form of a hunter, wearing a mala made of all beads which we find in the forest, and wearing a deer skin, and with his stout arms holding the bow and arrow on top of a horse. The galloping of the horse, and this little Vrishabhasuran looked at Perumal, who came to hunt him. Vrishabhasuran was very angry. Madhava Miksha Daityaha Krandan Sakova. He cried out aloud, "Hey, who are you?" In his own bhasha. And he snorted, he moved, he shouted. And then with sharp horns, he dug into the ground, sharpened his horns and started charging towards our Perumal. One arrow was enough. Like Wali, for Wali, one arrow was enough. He didn't need volley of arrows to finish Wali. He took only one arrow, finished Wali. Likewise, when this Vrishabhasura came charging at our Perumal was on top of a horse, he just took one arrow, stuck, pierced the heart of Vrishabhasura. Mamara Daityaha Sagasa Nipatya. Immediately it stuck the heart of the Daitya, he fell down. The moment he fell down, he left the form of this bull and he took his original form of an Asura. tadruksharupam sagasa vihaya daityaswarupena barhigato asau Tushtava bhaktya harimartha bandhum bhakta priyam bhagyavatam varishtaha. He fell down. Look at his bhagyam. That Parama Bhagyavan left his form of the ox, the bull, and he showed his original Asura form. He looked at Bhagavan. He didn't see a hunter there, he saw Perumal. And with whatever little energy he could muster, because the prana was fast leaving, he with tremendous devotion starts extolling the Lord. Stuti. His Bhagyam. Ada Tirumala. And his Stuti itself is beautiful. We will see it separately next week. Bhagavan could have just finished his job and left na Kripalu Bhagavan. Bhakta Vatsala, Bhakta Priyaha. The moment he heard the words, Hey Jagannatha, Hey Mukunda, he stopped. Nama will pull Bhagavan. He turned and he thought, poor Asura, let him also attain Vaikuntha. Na? So he came and stood near that Asura, just like how he stood in front of Vali. The moment Vali took out that single arrow which was discharged from the lovely bow of our Sri Ramachandra Prabhu, he took out the arrow. Every arrow has Rama Namankitam. There is a Rama written in every arrow. He looked at the arrow, read the name Rama. Ramachandra Prabhu finished his work of protecting Sugriva, and he was just turning about to leave when Vali, writhing in pain, with tremendous energy pulled out that arrow, and he saw Rama. The moment our Ramachandra Prabhu heard that feeble voice of Vali calling out his name, he turned back, came and stood before Vali. Likewise, Vrishabhasura's Stuti is beautiful. It's about 4 shlokas. We'll see that because very beautiful bhavas have embedded in that 4 shlokas. Bhagavan came and stood before him. The moment you saw me, in the time when you are about to leave the body, you have had my darshan. So that is going to bless you with jnana to an extent that you are going to attain Vaikuntha. Don't worry. And the honor of your presence in this hill, Asura's presence, Bhagavan Kripalu. He named that hill with the name of the Asura. That's why we have the first hill's name is Vrishabhadri. That Vrishabhasuran was the reason for the hill to be named as Vrishabhadri or Vrishabhachalam. Vrishabhachalam. And next week we will see Narayanachal. So when we are going to the Saptagiri next time or do the dhyana of Saptagiri, it starts with Vrishabhadri, Narayanadri and so on and so forth. So when we hear the word Vrishabhadri, remember this lovely story of Bhagavan's grace on the Asura, to an extent that he made that Asura timeless by naming the hill, his own Adisesha Swami's hill, na? He called it as Vrishabhadri. And the lovely Stuti of Vrishabhasuran, we will see it next week separately. I will do the full Parayana for Vrishabhadri. Next week we will do the Parayana of Narayanadri and continue. Let us do the Parayana. Please refer to your notes and do the Parayana along with me. Shri Sadguru Ruvacha Vijnaya sAnidhyam atho murarehe tatraya yor yogi varam munindraha tapodhanas tatra tapascha chakruhu dridrikshaya venkatanayakasya chakara himsan vrishabhasurastu tesham muninam bhagavat paranam vishnum sharanyam sharanam yayuste virodanashaya vrishasurasya tata mukundashabarendra rupam divyam grihitva turagadirudaha chachara dhanvi varakadgadrikcha kurvan mahadrau mrgaya viharam tatrayayo madhava vikshya daityaha krandan sakopam pathi tikshna shringaha vivyadatam bhanavarena vishnuhu mamara daityaha sahasa nipatya tadriksharupam sagasa vihaya daitya rupena barhigato aso tushtava bhaktya harim arthabandhum bhakta priyam bhagyavatam varishtaha Vrishabhasura vacha jagatpate tvam kripayavatirno virajase shesha girau mukunda anugrahartam cha satam muninam tatha kalanam apirinigrahartam tavaiva hastena vado mamaivam praptastadetan mama bhagyameva vimuchya papadahamapi ananta tavaiva padau sharanam gatosmi maturyata sikshanam arbhakanam kshemaya vaideva tavasuranam tvaya kritam sikshanam api amogam badram dadatyeva daya samudra janamyaham tvam jagatekanatham शिष्टाश्च दुष्टाश्च वसन्ति लोके दुष्टोप्यहं तावक एव नूनं तस्मादहं ते दयनीय जीवः श्री भगवानुवाच देहावसाने मम सन्निधाने ज्ञानं तवाभूत् कृपया ममैव माहात्म्यमेतत् खलु दैत्यवर्या क्रीडाचलस्यैव ममाघहर्तुः अद्यः प्रभृत्येष गिरिस्तवैव नाम्ना भुवि ख्यातिमवाप्स्यतीह त्वमपि अनन्ते मम धाम निवासम् अवाप्स्यसीति एव वरं ददामि श्री सद्गुरुरुवाच एवं मुकुन्दो वृषभस्य दत्त्वा वरं वरेण्यो अन्तर्धात् तथैव दिवं ययौ दैत्यवरोऽपि तस्मात् वदन्ति सन्तो वृषभाचलं च श्री हरये नमः. The half of the chapter of Divyadesa Vaibhavam graced by our Sri Sri Anna Paranur Mahatma. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सद्गुरु महाराज की जय. रमा रमण गोविंदा गोविंदा. ऐश्वर्य श्रीनिवास भगवान की जय. राधे राधे.